Hello and welcome back to Confidence in Christ with Kayla. We are going to hang out in the Old Testament for a little bit because it is just chocked full of so many things that we can learn about, and I love kind of looking back and then realizing how God repeats himself and how he repeats himself and just his faithfulness that just pours over us over and over again. So today we are going to read Numbers 11 verses 4 through 6, and they say, "The rabble with them began to crave other food, and again the Israelites started wailing and said, 'If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost, also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna.'" Well, if you can't tell, the Israelites are a bit perturbed that the only thing they are getting to eat is manna. And they were thinking back of all these amazing things that they used to have from the Egyptian lifestyle that they lived. And might I remind you, they were slaves and had no freedom at all. Yes, they knew where their next meal was coming from, but they were slaves. And they have completely forgotten that, because in here in verse, 5, it says, "We remember what we ate in Egypt at no cost." Excuse me, that food cost you your freedom. Those pleasures cost you your freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of your mind. Like, there are so many things that it cost them, but they have forgotten. Their perks were not really perks at all. Yes, freedom with God was risky. Following Moses was a risky thing. They weren't sure where their next meal was going to come from, and all they had to do was trust God, and he was going to provide it. I mean, the food they're complaining about, the provisions that they're complaining about, were going to come. They just had to trust God. And that's what they weren't big fans of. They weren't big fans of not knowing if something was going to be happening for them. They didn't like the fact that they couldn't predict what was going to come. Have you ever felt like that? Like, I feel like I should be in their garb, dressed up right there with them, because that's me. I want to know where I'm going before God sends me. I'm like, great, I will follow you, I will trust you, but can I see the roadmap? Like, I want to know where we're going. Are we sure everything's going to be provided for me? Are we sure we're all going to be safe? We're going to stay together as a group. Like, we're all going in this together, right, God? And he's like, hey, all I did was ask you to trust me. Come on, let's go. Like, he's like pulling on the rope, like, let's go, come on. And there I am with my feet just dug into the ground, not wanting to go anywhere. I am just like the early Israelites. Like, I so relate to them. And I'm guessing you do too. But isn't that just crazy how God still loved them? He still provided for them. And he's like, guys, like, you don't realize what I just saved you from. Like, come on, let's go. I know this isn't exactly what you used to have. Some of your perks are gone, but the gifts that I'm going to give you are way better than anything you ever had back there. So today, have confidence knowing that, one, you are not alone. You are not the only one thinking the exact same thing as me. And number two, that God is going to provide. We just have to trust him. There are lots of scary things out there, but guess what? He will provide. He promises it.